Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're swinging through the Devil's Tower area for a whopping one-night stay. We're hoping to do some astrophotography and some Milky Way photography while we're here. And Shelley's got some geosplaining for you. By the way, Theodore Roosevelt declared Devil's Tower a national monument back in 1906. That's 3 years after my house was built. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's windy out here, so let's get going.
Well, today, guys, I have an absolutely amazing geosplaining location for you. It is Devil's Tower National Monument right here behind me. If you've never been here, I highly recommend it. It's an amazing place. It's just beautiful. Devil's Tower is composed primarily of what's called a phonolite porphyry. That differs from a granite. It's similar to a granite because it's an igneous intrusion from magma within the earth. But what it is granite is distinct different minerals that you can see all together, like mica, feldspar, quartz, things like that. Porphyries have larger minerals within a fine-grained matrix. You can think of it kind of like putting chocolate chips in your pancake mix. It's the same thing, kind of consistency. There's two theories as to how it formed. One is that it was a laccolith, which basically is a magma intrusion between two layers of rock. It forms kind of like a blister in the earth, and it never extrudes to the surface to create a volcano, and then it just hardens there. The other prevalent theory is that it's the core of an ancient volcano, that everything else above the volcano weathered away and the core was harder than the surrounding rock and has stayed for a long time. Those are the two prevalent theories. There's four theories actually in total, but I won't go into all of them. The thing about this is it's an igneous intrusion, and when it cooled, everything started to crack. And so you get this weird columnar jointing in the rock. And these columns are the largest columnar jointed columns in the world. They can be hundreds of feet long and over 10 feet wide. They're absolutely humongous. There are other places you might be familiar with, Ireland, where they've got the Giant's Causeway. This is similar, but it's a much larger area. This tower is quite high. I'll put the exact height of it somewhere in the description below, but it has an interesting story behind it from the Native Americans. The Native Americans have a story that these girls were being chased by a giant bear through the forest, and they prayed to the gods to help protect them. And so they jumped up on a rock, and the gods lifted that rock high in the sky, and that way the bear could not get to them. But the bear tried to get to them and scraped the sides of the rock that they were sitting on. And that is the Native American story of how you got Devil's Tower, which I think is kind of a neat little story. It's kind of a thing around here. They've got a lot of different signs and things that just depict that of the bear on the tower. So if you ever see that, that's what that means. So
Shawn and Corinne from the Travels of Red Rover beat us over to our photography spot for this evening, because if you can't tell, I've got a nasty migraine, and I'm still trying to function like a normal human being. Probably kind of stupid, but photography comes first here. So we are set up in a parking lot in the pouring rain because of the thunderstorm that's killing my head, across from Devil's Tower here, waiting for the rain to clear, hoping against hope that we can get out and do some Milky Way photography this evening. So stay tuned for that. Well, the rain subsided here at Devil's Tower, and we're actually getting a little bit of breaks in the clouds out to the west, and that's giving us some glow actually on Devil's Tower itself. You know what? It's really weird because you come out to a location like this and you expect to be all by yourself, and it's like people follow you. These same two have been following us all week. Of course, you know the joke if you've been watching every episode. Check out the playlist above for that. Oh my goodness gracious, I gotta stop talking and actually shoot some photographs.
So with that being said, this is the first composition from Devil's Tower. This is going to be an HDR composite actually, because I just don't think I could have done any better doing an exposure blend. So the first one was for the highlights, and this is for the shadow areas. So I'll take the two images together here in just a second. I'm going to show them side by side so you can see them. There's the shadows on the right. That's exposed for shadows. And on the left is for the highlights. We're going to take them together here. And this is what you end up with. A properly exposed across the board image. I love the golden glow that's coming off of Devil's Tower. The trees even have that glow. It was odd. The sun had just come through an opening in the clouds after that rainstorm and produced this gorgeous light perfectly on the tower itself. It's amazing what happens when you just wait for that perfect moment of photography. Let me know what you think. Give me a comment down below. And here are Shelley's takeaways from that golden hour at Devil's Tower. She was working with the same quality of light, a little bit tighter in, and she was able to make a variety of photographs. She was able to get the shadow from the hills off to the west being cast above. I love this image of the double rainbow. You only see one fully here over Devil's Tower.
Okay, so it's getting kind of dark out here. This thing's actually doing pretty good as long as I face the setting sun, or what's left of the glow that's hitting the sky. The sun's well down, and now I'm pretty much doing a manual time lapse, hoping to capture one bolt of lightning. Shelley has already gotten two that we could see in a photo on the screen, back at the screen. So we'll be showing you those for sure. And I think I might have gotten one. But it's gonna get so dark here in a little bit. We'll probably finish this one up back of the desk.
So I did get one. Actually, I got two. The second one takes a lot more post-processing. I'm actually still working on it. This is the raw image out of camera for the lightning strike that I got. The first one. The second one, like I said, it's gonna take longer for me to actually do the processing on. I may do that in a future video. Here's the raw versus the post-processed image. I was able to get more detail in the clouds and get the exposure more balanced. I didn't do a lot here. I love this image. The lightning is just so cool. I wish I could have gotten the one that's coming up that Shelley got, but I just wasn't quick enough that night. And realistically, this is the first time that we had ever really attempted doing lightning photography. Tell me what you think. How would you do this differently? Leave a comment down below. So here are Shelley's lightning photographs. This one looks very similar to mine. She got a second strike, which was really cool. Also, you might go on over and check out Shawn and Corinne's take over on their channel, Travels of Red Rover. They got some really cool lightning as well. It was an epic night for photography. This is my favorite shot from that night. I wish I would have gotten this one as well, but Shelley made off with a really, really solid composition and awesome shot. Here's Shelley's take on Astro. Remember, this is one of the first times that we've actually concentrated on trying to do astrophotography. I think she came away with a really good photograph. This is me being a little goofy in the field. Yes, it's a selfie with a red headlight on me to light me. So here's my final composition for the night. It's going to be two exposures blended together. This is not an HDR, it's an exposure blend. There's a difference. So one frame is for the sky, and this frame is for the foreground. The stars would be really blurry and have tails on them in this frame. So I took the two into Photoshop. I'm going to show them side by side so you can see the difference. So on the left we have the exposure for the sky, and on the right we have the foreground properly exposed. I take them into Photoshop and blend the two together using luminosity masks to produce this image. This is the post-processed image. It's pretty good. It's a little noisy in my opinion, but my goal is to print this on canvas, which will lose the noise. And after all, it's only us photographers that really worry about and notice the noise. So how would you handle this situation in the field? Have you tried night sky photography? If you have, let's talk about it down below. I think I may have been able to lower the ISO just a little bit down to 1600 and still been able to come away with a proper exposure. That would have reduced some of the noise. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet done so, please go over and check out Shawn and Corinne's channel, Travels of Red Rover. They had an excellent night as well. Totally epic conditions at an epic location. Probably a 1 in 1,000 chance of getting lightning, epic sunset light, rainbows, and a Milky Way all in one night. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me. And if you haven't yet done so, please hit that subscribe button, ding the bell for future notifications, give me a big thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.